Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's more Fiverr Talks right here on the channel that's all Fiverr all the time. My name is Joel Young. I'm the top-rated seller, DJ Young on Fiverr, and today we're going to be talking about how to handle revisions. That's right, if you've been a creative for more than 5 seconds, you already know that handling revisions is just a part of the gig. And today we're going to talk about developing a process for handling revisions that will make you a success as a seller on Fiverr. But before we do that, I want to remind you that we launched something really exciting on Monday, or at least we told you about it on Monday. It's official now. You can join Fiverr Talks over on Patreon to get exclusive content, more in-depth content. If you want to ask questions, that's where we'll answer them in our Q&A videos, all these things that you've seen on the channel. Some of these more inclusive features are now going to be featured on Patreon because we want to try to grow this channel so that I can give more time to it, more attention to it. That's more time and attention to you to help you on your seller journey. I promise you that this will be a great investment. It's something that literally can help you go from just getting started or giving something a try to actually making this a run at a legitimate business. These are things that I've not shared anywhere else, and I'm not going to share anywhere else, but right on the Patreon page. And just as a little teaser, on Friday, our video on Patreon is going to be about how to deal with difficult buyers. This is a question a lot of you have asked. I thought we'd take time to make a video about it. And all the videos we post on Patreon are going to be longer, more in-depth, more detailed than the ones that are posted here on YouTube. So if you're ready to go to the next level, make sure you join me over there. It's patreon.com/DJ Young. The link is right down below, so make sure that you check that out and join us there so you can get all those great exclusive tips and exclusive videos, and don't miss a thing. Okay, so back to handling revisions. This is a huge part of the creative process, giving someone work, getting their feedback, reworking it, the back and forth, the hustle, the bustle, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it's easier than other times, because some clients are easier than other clients, but handling revisions is a part of the process because it's rare for you to do anything, hand it over, and have someone say, "Great, thanks." It just doesn't happen all the time. It happens, and it should happen sometimes, but it's not the norm. So today I thought I'd share some tips on how to handle revisions graciously, and I think it starts by having a plan. Having a policy is what I like to call it, because that sounds a little more substantial when you're referring to your plan to a customer, saying, hey, I have a policy in place for revisions. Here's how it works. Here's how it's all laid out. Here's what you'll have the opportunity to do, and here's how I'll be able to respond. And if it falls outside of these guidelines, here's what we're going to do then. If you don't have a policy in place, take 15 minutes as soon as this video is done and write down your preferred revision policy. How do you want customers to bring you revisions? What format do you want them to come to you? Then, what kind of timeline is that going to be under? I'm getting ahead of myself here, but you see what I'm saying. Make a plan, call it a policy, put it together, and put that in your gig description. That way you can always refer back to it, always say, here it is, it was posted, you should have read it. Remind people of that, maybe even in your delivery message. Make that policy a part of your service so that people understand, hey, this is how it's going to work. If they understand the process, then there's less chance for them to get upset because something unexpected happened. When it's not unexpected, it's hard to get upset about it. So create a revision policy and stick to it. And I can't really give you an example of how to do that because each one of your services is different. They're different than mine, unless you're in the exact same industry, but you're unique and you should develop that policy to make sure that it works for you, and don't try to follow a template. So I think you're smart enough. I think you're savvy enough to do that. Make sure you do it right now, as soon as this video is over. Not right now. Finish watching this. Okay, the second thing is you need to, within that policy, like I said, I mentioned this a minute ago, I got ahead of myself. You need to, within that policy, set a definite time frame for those requests to occur. Now, I had a nice exchange with somebody in the comments section about this last week, about defining timelines for revisions and how that affects Fiverr's ability, or someone's ability to leave you a review on Fiverr. Now, why this is important is because your customers only have 10 days from delivery in which to leave a review for your work. So what you need to do is make sure that on Fiverr, you're asking clients to hit the request a revision button if they have any revisions. I realize not everybody always follows those instructions, but encourage your customers to use that button. It doesn't hurt your rating. It doesn't restart the clock on you. I think we've talked about that before. It's already done. You met the deadline, and now they requested a revision. Ask them to use that button so it keeps it at the top of your queue. You're reminded about it, but it also stops that 10-day window from starting in which they're allowed to leave you a review. So make sure that you set a timeline and say, we allow up to this amount of time for revisions. But you also have to recognize and address the fact that Fiverr will close that gig page in 3 days if there's not been any response. So make sure you talk about the Fiverr platform, what it's going to do, and then talk about your policy as a separate thing. Hey, we give up to a week to request any revisions you need under whatever parameters your policy holds. This page will be closed in 3 days, so if you think you might need revisions, hit the request a revision button so that we can keep it open for that week and allow you to request the revisions you need, if you need any. So make sure you set a definite timetable in which people are allowed to request revisions. Don't leave it open-ended. I've had people come back 6 months after completing work and say, hey, can you just change one little thing? You need to make sure that you have a plan for what happens outside of that time frame. So if you say, we offer unlimited revisions within 1 week of delivery, well, what happens if I request that 2 weeks after delivery? What's the cost of a round of revisions, which is a very general term, but still nonetheless something that most of us have heard and customers are familiar with. What do revisions cost? How are they priced after that time frame has passed? You have to define that as well. If you're having a time frame in which things are included, you have to make sure you tell people what it will cost if it's not within that time frame. You need to define a quantity or a standard for revisions. So like I said, I mentioned that you could talk about rounds of revisions in creative work. That's something that is pretty loose and general, but it just refers to a group of requests submitted at the same time. That's a round of revisions, okay? But you have to be able to quantify it in some way. I don't ever recommend anyone offering unlimited revisions. That is stupid. That is silly. That is definitely gimmicky because customers see right through that. Hey, unlimited. And believe me, even if you have a strong track record of getting things done and making people happy, you're going to find that customer every now and then who's just going to test the limits of the unlimited revisions. So don't do that. Put some kind of quantification or standard on it. Say we offer 3 rounds of revisions. I will give you 3 versions or 4 versions or 2 or 1 extra or whatever it is. Some have no revisions. That's the way my voice work on Fiverr. Unless I make a mistake or a mispronunciation or don't follow your directions, I offer no revisions. And that's because my services are deeply discounted to compete on Fiverr. And if you would like it to sound different, but you didn't ask me to make it sound different, maybe you submitted and said make it natural, but now you say, we want something that's more professional. Fine. You'll have to purchase it again. And that's what comes with having a value-based service at a lower price, no revisions. So if that's your policy, just state that up front. I can't tell you whether that's right for your service because everything is different and everything is unique to you. The next item is that you need to ask all buyers, once you put this policy out there, you need to ask all buyers to abide by this policy. There will be people that come along and say, can't you just do this for me? Can't you just do this one time, make this exception? And you need to let them know that everybody is playing by these same rules. These are the rules you ask all of your customers to play by, that when they click that order button, when they come through, when they become a customer, they have agreed to, and Fiverr makes them check a box at the bottom that says all of this information is accurate, and I realize changing any of this after submission could lead to additional costs. They check that even if they don't read it. But make sure they know that you expect them to follow the rules because everybody else is expected to follow the rules, and that exceptions really become a snowball. just that rolls down a hill and becomes, bigger and bigger as it goes along. So ask people to hold up these policies, but maintain a level of grace. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to revisions, when it comes to customer relations. Maintain a level of grace in your policies. I have a very strict approval process in my creative works that when we approve this thing and we move on to the next phase of the project, and then that's approved, and we move on to the third phase, and then that's approved. If we get all the way to the end and someone wants to change something that they previously approved, like a script, we want to change the words now, but we're all the way here at the end at step 6, but we want to go back to step 2. I have a strict policy that is going to cost extra money because you approved it every step of the way, and now you want to go back and change it. But there are still times when I make exceptions. There are still times when I do little fixes for people. And though I try not to make a huge deal of it, I always do remind them, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this for you for free this time. This is a gift to you, letting them know that this was not included and I'm not obligated, but this is a gift for you. So make sure that you do that and make sure that grace is a part of your revision process. I think it'll really help you out if you follow all of these tips and continue to deliver exceptional quality. Hey, thanks so much for joining me for today's video. I'm really glad you're here on the channel. If you're not already, please subscribe to this channel. There's new free content every single week right here on Fiverr Talks. With me, Joel Young, I'm a top-rated seller on Fiverr since 2013. Full-time, started a business there, grown it, and been incredibly blessed. And now I'm just sharing this information and trying to grow a community of people that are trying to change their lives, and we're glad you're here for that. Like I said earlier, if you want to go deeper, or if you're really serious about becoming a top-rated seller or growing your business on Fiverr, make the investment in yourself and join us over on Patreon. Become a part of the community where you can interact with me more, ask questions, get on Q&A videos, and get this exclusive kind of extended range content that we're doing over there. Really hope to see you over there. A new video there on Friday. I'll see you back here on this channel on Monday. And until next time, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.